You're watching Goal Rush Report, your home for football's biggest headlines, bold reactions, and stories that go beyond the pitch. Let's dive in. Just 17 years old, Lamine Yamal has already become a key figure in Barcelona's future. He's dazzling crowds, breaking age records, and being hailed as the next big thing out of La Masia, the same academy that gave us Lionel Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta. But behind the scenes, the Spanish wonder kid could be facing a problem that threatens to derail his rapid rise to superstardom. According to Sport, Barcelona's medical team fears that Yamal is suffering from pubalgia, also known as sports hernia, a painful and often chronic condition that has haunted several elite players over the years. The concern is not just the injury itself, but its nature. Pubalgia doesn't heal easily. It lingers, sometimes for months or even years, and often requires constant management rather than a complete cure. During Barcelona's 2-1 loss to Real Madrid in El Clasico last month, fans noticed something worrying: Yamal grimacing and holding his lower abdomen multiple times during the match. It wasn't just fatigue. Reports suggest that the discomfort has been building up all season. And now, within the club's corridors, there's a growing belief that the young forward's problem could be incurable. For those unfamiliar, pubalgia occurs when there's an imbalance in the muscles connecting the groin and the lower abdomen. These areas are heavily used in football. Sprinting, turning, and shooting all put immense stress on them. Over time, this can cause inflammation and constant pain that doesn't simply fade away with rest. The irony? It's an injury Lionel Messi himself battled through during his Barcelona days. 6 years ago, Messi spoke openly about it on Argentine radio station Club 94.7, explaining how difficult it was to shake off. He described it as a condition that can't be fixed overnight, revealing that it required patience, specialized training, and constant monitoring to manage. If there's any silver lining for Yamal, it's that Messi did overcome it, at least enough to continue performing at the highest level. For years, Messi played through the pain and adjusted his body mechanics to protect himself. In other words, there's hope. But as one former Barcelona physio explained to Sport, age plays a crucial role. Pubalgia at 17 is different from having it at 27. The body is still developing, and that means the muscles are constantly changing. If handled carefully, he can adapt and keep playing, but it requires discipline and long-term management. That's the challenge Barcelona faces now, protecting their brightest young star while keeping him on the pitch. Barcelona's situation is complicated. On one hand, Yamal is arguably their most exciting attacking prospect since Messi. On the other, the club has learned from painful experience how risky it is to rush young players back from injury. The Catalan side has already faced backlash in recent years for overplaying young talents like Pedri and Gavi, both of whom suffered serious setbacks after being overused. Now, the last thing Barcelona wants is to see Yamal's progress halted by a long-term condition. But with the team struggling for consistency in La Liga and Europe, the temptation to keep him playing is immense. According to Sport, the medical staff have been alternating between rest periods and specific muscle strengthening programs for Yamal, aiming to reduce strain on his abdominal region. However, some within the club reportedly believe that there's no complete cure, only management. That means the teenager might have to learn how to live with the pain, much like Messi once did. And speaking of Messi, there's another layer to this story, one that links both players beyond their shared talent and injury history. That Messi's frustration with Barcelona still burns in a twist of timing. Lionel Messi's name has re-emerged in Barcelona news for another reason entirely. Reports from Spain and the US suggest that Messi and his family are still angry with Barcelona president Joan Laporta. And those tensions date back to 2021, when Messi's emotional exit from the club shocked the world. According to former Barcelona vice president Jordi Mestre, Messi wanted to return to Camp Nou in 2023. But despite his clear desire, the club couldn't get their financial situation under control in time. That failure forced Messi to look elsewhere, ultimately joining Inter Miami in Major League Soccer, where he has since extended his contract until 2028. Messi was willing to come back, but the club wasn't ready financially. It was a massive missed opportunity. For Messi, Barcelona isn't just another club, it's home. And yet, his relationship with Laporta remains fractured. The Argentine reportedly felt betrayed by how his departure was handled in 2021, and sources close to him claim that the wounds still haven't fully healed. It's an ironic parallel. One legend hurt by the club's decisions, and one young prodigy now physically hurting while trying to follow in that same legend's footsteps. As things stand, Barcelona will continue to manage Yamal's workload carefully. He's expected to undergo personalized recovery sessions, focusing on strengthening the core and stabilizing the pelvic region. However, there's growing acceptance that this could be a chronic battle rather than a temporary setback, that if Yamal can find balance, both physically and mentally, he could emulate Messi's path, playing through discomfort, adapting his game, and continuing to dominate. But if mismanaged, this could become a lingering problem that limits his explosiveness and availability in key matches. For Barcelona fans, it's a sobering reminder that even the brightest stars are human. The club's future may rest on how well they protect their teenage sensation, not just from opponents, but from the dangers of overexertion. And for Yamal himself, it's a defining moment. The road to greatness often comes with pain, and how he handles this setback could shape the rest of his career. Messi once proved that Pubalgia doesn't have to end a career. It can be managed, fought, and even beaten. Now, it's Yamal's turn to prove the same. That's all for today on Goal Rush Report, where football's biggest headlines meet fearless analysis. If there's one lesson from this story, it's that talent can take you far, but resilience takes you further. Because as Messi once said, any player who feels superior has a problem, unless you're willing to suffer for greatness. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep your eyes on Yamal. Barcelona's future might just depend on how he fights this invisible battle.